everybody, I'm just going to share with you today how to line your tart tin with your pastry that you've made already. This method was shown to me by a French chef, and it's a very classic way of lining your tart tin. We're going to reinforce the edges to make them really strong, so that when you bake your tart that you won't have any shrinkage, and that way you can fill your tart right to the top so that it looks beautiful. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the pastry that's just come out of the fridge, so it's nice and rested. It's been in the fridge for about half an hour. And take the plastic off, and I'm going to take a little bit of flour and pop that onto the board and on top of the pastry, because I don't want the pastry to stick to the rolling pin. Take your rolling pin and you're going to roll out your pastry, keeping your rolling pin, a little bit more flour so it doesn't stick, keeping your rolling pin on the pastry. Don't let it go off the edges, otherwise you'll make your edges very thin. Alright. And make sure you've got plenty of flour so it doesn't stick to the board and tear your pastry. It's a really lovely pastry to roll out. It's nice and firm, and it's going to be nice and buttery as well. Melt in your mouth. So there we go. You don't want to roll it out too thin, but bigger than your tart mould. So the next thing we're going to do is take the pastry from the top. I'm going to roll it onto the pin from the top, not right to the end, because otherwise the pastry will stick to the pastry, to the other part of the pastry, and then you'll struggle to get it apart. Okay, I'm going to take our spray grease, or a little bit of Pam, I think you call it, and just a tiny spray, not everywhere, and then a sprinkling of flour. And then what we're going to do is roll the pastry very carefully over the tart mould. Be very careful because those edges are sharp, you don't want to break them. And then we're going to do several steps, okay? The first step, we're going to drape the pastry into the tart mould so there's no stretching, like so. And then the second step, we're going to lift the pastry and push it into the edges with your fingers, all the way around. Lift the pastry as you do it, again, so you don't stretch your pastry. There we go. All the way around. Okay, next step, we're going to take our finger and we're going to rest it against the top of the edge of the tart tin. Okay, with your thumb, push the pastry forward and make a thick ledge. And make the ledge on your finger, like so. And you want it quite a thick, quite a big amount of pastry. Push it forward, make a thick ledge. So, and at this point you can just push off the excess pastry as you're going along. Don't need that pastry. There you go. Okay, let's take away that pastry. That aside. Another tart, another time. And then a little bit of flour on your thumb, and you're going to just push that pastry up. And what I say is that we're making a wall with that pastry all the way around, just with your thumb, so you've got an even edge on the inside of your tart. Okay, like so. And then your last step, you're going to again pop your finger on your right hand just on the edge of the pastry as a support, and you're going to just make your finished edge using your thumb. Try and keep that edge nice and even. Remember, it's going to be how your finished edge and how your pastry tart will come out of the tin and look. You want it to be even and to look pretty. Most importantly, what we've done doing all those steps is we've strengthened the edge of our pastry tart so that you won't have that shrinkage. I'm just going to just tweak it, go around, make sure there's no everything's even. And there's your finished pastry case. Okay, very important now just to cover it with cling film or saran wrap, pop it into the fridge and let it cool down before you bake it blind. Probably best to leave it overnight. Thank you very much.